everybody, if you are new here, my name is Crys'Dawna, so welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell and you'll get all the latest videos that I put out. Everything I use will always be in the description below, so you can put the See More tab and you'll see everything in there. So today I'm going to be working on this desk. So this is a Hendredon Heritage Mid-Century Modern desk vanity. Okay, I get it, it's mid-century modern, it is built, it was from the 60s, but it is a custom, it's for my client, and she got it from her grandma, who is now no longer here with us, and she wants to kind of make it her own style, and she wants to obviously keep it because it's special to her. So we are going to try to do a little bit of a geometric design on here with some blues and golds, and keep it, we're gonna do colorful, but we're gonna keep it simple to go with the lines of this piece because it's mid-century modern. So I wanna show you guys what it looked like before. It's in kind of rough shape. So we are going to strip the top, restain the top with an espresso. I'm going to clean it up, and then we're going to do some lines and good stuff on it. So stick around if you guys wanna see that. Okay, so first step is to strip down the top of this. I'm gonna take an 80 grit and I'm going to use my 3x4 electric ray, and I'm going to strip down the top of this. You are going to want to go with the grain, and you'll see me doing that. But what I do is I start with an 80, then I go up to 120, and then I go up to 220 grit. There was quite a few things on the top of this. There's scratches and things like that. But if you start lower, so if you start with an 80 grit and move your way up, then you should be able to almost erase those scratches, but don't concentrate on one area. So if you have a scratch, don't keep your sander on there or dig your sander into that. Just allow the paper to do its job. So just sand the entire thing going with the grain, then move up to the next grain, then move up to your next grain. Once I was done sanding off the top, then on the sides there's trim, and it was veneer, and it was chipped and it was coming off, and I knew there was wood underneath, and I am going to condition this afterwards. So I am just taking this off with a putty knife. You can use a putty knife or a paint scraper, and then I used my hammer to hammer it and peel it all off. Then I take my scraper and I scrape off the remnants, maybe like little tiny pieces that are on there with the glue or whatever, and then I take my sander and I sand it. Now, if you were painting this, you probably could use a wood filler or something like that, but I just knew I was going to condition it, or I didn't know if I was going to condition or if I was going to stain it, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to fill in that veneer good enough to where it would look nice, so I just took it off. I had two problem areas here, and you're going to see it in a second. One was a water stain, and the other one is this little black stain right here. So the water stain, what I did is I was just patient, and I kept sanding the whole piece evenly. This one I'm using oxalic acid. Okay, so oxalic acid is something that will help get rid of those black stains that you see right there, but I take a damp rag, and I go over all my piece so I can see the wood, so I can see if there's swirl marks, and I can see all the stains, because sometimes stains don't show up when it's dry. So the oxalic acid is a powder granule form, and you just want to put a little bit on that little stain, and you want to wipe it in. You're going to put some water and you're going to make a paste and you're going to just rub it in. I'm using a tongue depressor here. You really only need to let it sit for about 5-10 minutes. And I'm going to spray more water and I will wipe it away with my damp rag to see if it worked. It does have a little tiny spot left, and so I'm going to add just a little bit more of my paste mixture on there. Again, let it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then it will totally erase that black stain that is in my wood that you cannot get out. So you can't get the black stain out with sanding. And then the water stain, I tried the oxalic acid on it and it doesn't work. So you have to use oxalic acid to get the black stains out, but you have to sand in order to get the water stains out. But you can't sand to get the black stain out. Does that make sense? Did I confuse you? No, the oxalic acid is for those black stains. And then if you have a water stain, you really just need to be patient and sand it out. But there you go, look. It's gone. Now, you want to neutralize this with water. You do not want to use vinegar to neutralize it. Vinegar is an acid. It's not going to neutralize an acid. So use water. And look at this. That stain is gone. It is a goner. Once I was done, I took it inside to take all the hardware off. This hardware is pretty old, so the screw is actually rusty, and I show you that. That's why I was showing you the screw at the very end. I'm going to also clean this with Dixie Belle's White Lightning. I know that this piece is actually really dirty because my client's daughter poured Pepto-Bismol on the inside. I should have showed you guys it was all pink on the inside, but I'm using Dixie Belle's White Lightning cleaner, and I'm going to pour that into my marked bucket so I know that that is my cleaner mixture, and the other one is just water. So what I can do now, I'm going to put my gloves on and I can take my microfiber cloth and I can clean it up. But then I will rinse that cloth off in the bucket that just has water. And what that does is it saves my White Lightning mixture so I don't have to keep making more. So all I have to do is get new buckets of clean, warm water. So I'm going to clean this entire thing and you will see I'm cleaning that Pepto-Bismol off. It's quite funny actually. And I'm going to clean it up. So there you go. That's my water mixture. And then that's my White Lightning mixture. So you can tell the difference after cleaning it. My White Lightning is still good enough, but here's the new water and that's what I do. So I am now going to condition the top with Big Mama's Butter and Orange Grove. I ended up conditioning it. I will probably put another layer of it on here, or I may end up putting some hemp seed oil on there. I wanted to keep the wood natural. I like the way it looks. It's beautiful. It's got beautiful grain and I think it just fits with the piece. So I'm putting Big Mama's Butter on here and I may put another coat. You have to condition your wood every so often. So we'll see. If it soaks in and it's really dry, I'll probably just put some hemp seed oil on it. But for now, it's just Big Mama's Butter. I'm taping everything off because I am going to I'm going to paint the shell with Bunker Hill Blue. So I'm going to paint the shell with Bunker Hill Blue and then I'm going to leave the legs. That's why I'm taping it off. I wanted to leave the legs wood. I wanted to have just enough wood and enough paint for it to be classy. So I am taping everything off so that I can paint with my Bunker Hill Blue pretty much the rest of the piece. I need you to hold on to your seats for this next part. So I decided I wanted the drawer front to be Haint Blue as my base versus Bunker Hill Blue. So I am repainting this for a reason. I wanted this to be a lot lighter. So we are doing a geometric pattern on here. And so you can see I'm using my speed square and I'm going to create this pattern on the entire drawer front. This was inspired by this piece right here that I'm showing you. My client sent it to me, and so this is the pattern that I'm doing on here. I'm using my speed square, and you'll see what I'm doing, but just be patient. And the reason why I went back to Haint Blue being my base is because I wanted it to all be lighter. So I'm going to do this on the entire front of the piece, and you will see here in a second what it looks like. have the pattern on my drawer front, but now I want to mix my gator hide in with my golden gemstone mousse. So that is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to put some gator hide and I'm going to put my gemstone mousse. You want to mix your gemstone mousse. You can see right here what it does is it kind of fluffs it up and it lightens it up. You can mix these two together. They are water-based. And then this allows it to just seal even more, because I don't want to go over this last part. I don't want to have to go over the gemstone mousse in itself to seal it. So I'm just doing this because it just takes away one part, plus it thins it out, which is what I need it to do for this next part that I'm going to do. So I'm doing this, and I ended up making a bigger batch. So if you see me holding that little Tupperware container, that's because I made a bigger batch because I knew I was going to need it. But this is what I'm doing, is mixing those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually outline the entire pattern that I just did. Now, I am using really thin tape to do this pattern, so make sure that your gold lines are at least as thick as that tape, and you will see exactly why in a second. I'm filling in some of the areas with the gold because those are going to be solid gold, but the rest of the lines are going to be gold. And you, like I said, you need to make sure that it is as thick as the tape that we are going to put over it. I did about 2 or 3 layers over top of here, and now it's the next day. It's nice and dry. I've got my speed square. I do have my little small T-square. I'm probably not going to use that, but here's my speed square that I have, or your measuring square. And I'm going to use this to make sure that my tape is straight. So I'm going to show you right here on the little angled part or the diagonal part. I'm going to use the tape so you see how thin that tape is, but I made sure that it was as wide, the gold was as wide as that tape, because it wouldn't make sense if I didn't do that. So I'm putting the tape over top of those areas that I outlined, making sure that the tape is covering all the gold. Okay, we don't want it to go over the Haint blue part. We want it to go over only the gold part. So I'm using my square to make sure that that is straight, that the tape is straight, and I'm going to outline everything. For those bigger areas, the bigger golden areas, I'm going to make sure that entire part is covered because I want that to be solid. But other than that, I'm using my square to make sure that all the tape is straight. Once I have all my tape on the outline, I'm going to seal it in with satin clear coat. When I'm using tape, I want to make sure I always seal in my tape because I'm going to be putting paint over top of this, and this is what gives you those nice crisp lines and doesn't allow that paint to bleed under. So I'm going to put this satin clear coat on it. I'm going to go in both directions. So right now I'm going up and down, and then I'm going to go side to side so that I know that that satin clear coat gets in all the little nooks and crannies of that tape. I also press down my tape really well, and I burnish it and rub it really well. But this just allows me to get in all the nooks and crannies that maybe I didn't get. Once the satin clear coat dries, I'm going to do a thin layer of the Haint blue over top of the entire thing. That will allow me to erase the gold that we don't need, because we don't need that excess gold on the outside of the outlines. And it gives me a nice base to work with when I'm doing all the individual colors. So what I'm going to do is go into each individual shape that has been outlined, and I'm going to create a different color. You could do this and do solids, you could do it and do a little bit of shading. You're gonna see what I'm doing here, but I'm gonna use artist brushes to paint in all those little areas. And so when we're done, we're gonna have some dark blue, light blue, we're gonna have some areas that are blended. We're going to have some areas that look a little cloudy, and then some of those areas that we covered that were the solid gold, those will show as well. And then all of the outlines are going to be the gold. So you're going to see me paint all this stuff, and then you're going to see the most satisfying part, which is after this paint is dry and after I have painted all the little areas, we're going to pull up the tape and we are going to see how awesome it looks. After I'm done pulling all my tape off, I'm going to seal the drawer front with my satin clear coat just to make sure that it is nice and sealed and protected. Those little yellow tabs right there, I don't have hardware on here, so I use those as my little drawer pulls. It's a good hack to have, so if you have closed the holes in your hardware and you don't have any way to open and close drawers for the moment, you can take a piece of tape on the inside of the drawer and kind of fold it over and make yourself a little tab so that way you can open and close your drawers while you're working. All right, so for the next part, you're going to need some 000 steel wool, very fine steel wool, and your Howdy Doody hemp seed oil. I am going to condition the legs on this piece. I did want to keep them, but they're a little bit dry and they need to be conditioned. And so this part looks really nice. You can see it, but down here, you can see there's a nicks and it's not quite nourished anymore. So we're going to take the steel wool and we're going to nourish it, and you're going to see it transform before your eyes. So what I do is I take the steel wool and kind of just lightly rub the hemp seed oil into it. Then I take my microfiber cloth and I wipe it all away. I did want to show you this next part where you can clearly see. So I had tape over this leg when I started working with it, and I pulled the tape off, and you can see in this one little spot in the next clip where the tape was. So it clearly shows you how nourished the wood is now with the hemp seed oil, and then that one little spot right there, that's where the tape was. So obviously we're going to put hemp seed oil on it, but it just shows you how magic this stuff is. You just put it on, you nourish it in, and boom. So that's what I did with all the wood. But I decided I wanted to do a little bit of a gold dip look, and so I'm going to go in with Dixie Belle's Gilding Wax, which is an oil based that I can use over the hemp seed oil. I'm going to tape this off right here. I did 3 inches on each leg. So I'm taping it off because I'm going to take the gold gilding wax and I'm going to basically paint the bottom of these little legs. I think it's just going to add a little pop of character, go with the gold and the other stuff, kind of still keep with the minimalist, make it modern, but it's going to look beautiful. So here I am using the gold gilding wax. The gold gilding wax is oil based, so it's no problem putting it over the hemp seed oil. And also this is self-sealing. So once this dries, it's going to seal itself. I don't need to go in with an extra sealer to seal this gilding wax if I don't want to. All right, everybody, so here is the finished piece. I hope you guys liked that video. I'm finally done. I've had kids at my house all week, so I need a break. So if you are not subscribed, make sure you are subscribed and then hit the bell so you get all the latest all the latest videos I put out. Also, everything I use will always be in the description below. And until then, happy creating. I want to show you guys something too. Oh, listen, my husband just threw this at the camera. That is an indication of the chaos that's been going on this week. Anyway, stay tuned for some nice staged pictures, and I'll see you guys later.
I could be wrapped around your arms instead of being lonely. We could be gazing at the stars, but now it feels just like I wandered off into a room and closed the door behind me. I never gave the key to you, even though I wanted to. I should be trying something new, but now my body's aching. I'm tired of dwelling in the dark, it's just that my heart can't take it. I didn't know what it would cost me when I let